Alrighty. Start call number 22, you guys. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for coming on a Monday night. You all are just exceptional people for just showing up. So anyway, let's start call number 2.
Number 2?
22, sorry.
Like, we've definitely done more than 2. Stoked. Okay. Well, I am super excited to be interviewing Laura today. Laura, I've gotten to know Laura pretty well just through Facebook, and I met her at Celebration last year, this Isagenix event in Las Vegas. But I've really gotten to know her, and she is just a beautiful, beautiful person inside and out, and I'm super excited. I know she's kind of nervous to share her story, but I'm super excited for her to chat with us. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think I've ever heard your full story. So I'm really excited, and I wanted to thank you for being on, Laura.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And so I was just wondering if you could share your story for starters, kind of how you were introduced to Isagenix and what it's done for you and anything in between.
Sure. So I'll kind of start with a little bit of background about myself. I was always very, into sports. I was always a diehard athlete. From basically kindergarten, I played soccer, basketball, and softball 11 and a half months out of the year. I never stopped. And then I went to college and I played soccer in college. And between my, summers during college, I played on a semi-pro women's team. And I always ate really healthy. I ate all organic, very clean. I was really, really focused on my workouts. We, being a competitive soccer player, we had to follow a workout schedule and we had to lift. And, we had different things we had to do at the gym. And on top of that, I was always very into, stretching and having my girls, making sure you stretch your hip flexors and, making sure you stretch your hamstrings and, to support your glutes and your ACL, because for women, we're very prone to injuries in that area. So after college ended, I stopped playing competitively and I kept running. I kept running a lot. And, so I stopped lifting. And as a woman, especially a runner, your shock absorbers are your glutes and your hips. But as I stopped working out, I didn't maintain my muscle. So my muscle started to kind of break down and deplete. I actually lost 15 pounds of muscle when I stopped playing competitive soccer. And all of a sudden, one day I was tired. I was fatigued. I had a lot of discomfort. I was very uncomfortable in my body. And I didn't really know where I was stemming from. So after 9 months of being a stubborn, athlete, and after 9 months of saying, it's just aches and pains, I went to the doctor and I found out that I had torn both labrums in both my hips. And because I ignored it for so long, I did so much injury on top of that I had lesions on my femur ball joints, which were, the bump out lesions, but then I also had erosion. So I had my femur ball joints shaved down and reconfigured to fit back in my socket. And I had a lot of my cartilage taken out. So, and injuries in general, if your body is going through any type of stress at all, it's exhausting. It's mentally exhausting. It's just physically exhausting. So I was just in a lot of discomfort. So I had my first surgery in October, and then I had my second surgery the January following, and I was on crutches for 16 out of 21 weeks. I couldn't sit at a 90-degree angle for the first 6 weeks of both surgeries. So for 12 weeks, my body was basically formed to slouch at all times because I couldn't sit upright. So, I had my surgeries, and throughout that 21-week recovery time, it kind of put me in a dark place. I had everything I'd ever known stripped out right from under me. I went from doing so much to doing nothing at all. About a year later, all of a sudden, here I am again. I'm fatigued. I'm exhausted. I'm uncomfortable. I have discomfort. And I go back to the doctor and I find out that my hips are re-torn. So, but they're tearing away all the way around the labrum. So my option was to have surgery again. And I didn't want to do it. I was not at, a healthy mental point in my life, like emotionally. I just I couldn't do it again. So I walked out of the office. I declined. I went out and I felt super, super just defeated. I felt hopeless. I was like, well, what am I going to do now? Is this kind of how I'm going to feel for the rest of my life? So I actually had a friend reach out to me. She's probably on here. My good friend Faith. And she reached out to me and said, hey, I want to introduce this nutritional superfood to you. And I really think it'll help you in your lifestyle and this and that. And I'm like, girl, I eat like so clean. I eat so healthy. I eat organic. Like, why would that help me at all? If this is where I'm at with all that, how is it going to benefit me? So I said no. So about 2 years later, so 2 years passed, Faith just joined the meeting. So 2 years had passed, which is now almost 3 years ago, or a year ago. And I saw a post that she had on her Facebook wall. And it's like, oh, hey, who wants to do a 30-day cleanse? Who wants more energy? Who wants, less stress? Who wants to sleep better? This, that, and that. And I said yes to everything. Just checked everything off. And I'm like, what? I'm going to do it. And I saw the little thing she had, 30-day money-back guarantee. I'm like, all right, cool. On day 28, I will probably send the system back. It's probably not going to do anything for me. Screw it. I'll do it so Faith can be happy, and I can just tell her that it didn't work. So I started the 30-day system, and about 2 weeks in, I knew that this was for me. I had really basically at that moment realized that I was gaining my life back, physically, emotionally, mentally. I had more energy. I slept better. My stress levels went down. My overthinking of everything I was going through or had been through had, minimized. My physical discomfort decreased tremendously. I had started to regain my life back in a sense where now today I can hike whatever 14er I want to go hike. Last year I hiked, one of the hardest approaches here from Manitou to Pikes Peak, and it was awesome. I do the incline, so which is here in Manitou. Thanks, Colin. I can, I mountain bike hard. I ski hard. I hike. I trail run. And these are things that I can now do because I'm feeding my body a nutrition that is full of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, all these things that I was not getting eating a clean, organic, healthy diet. And I just personally, now I use the AMP line for all my workouts. And when I work out really hard, I put an additional protein shake, full protein into my daily just diet regimen. I don't supplement a meal. I add it. And it's helped me to maintain the muscles that I'm building my lean muscle. I'm maintaining it. I'm preventing the, muscle breakdown. And I went to the doctor a few months ago and we had an x-ray done, and there are the lesions back, on my femur ball joints and in my hip sockets. And my doctor looked at me and he's like, whatever you're doing to maintain your lifestyle, keep doing it. Like, if you don't want surgery right now, keep doing it. And guys, I'm not saying that this is not meant to fix any injury. It's not meant to, prevent or even fix any type of disease. It's not meant for that. It's meant to feed your body nutrition that it doesn't get in order to feel good, to be strong, to be healthy, to be powerful. So that's basically my story, and that's where I'm at now.
Dang. I love it. I did not know a lot of that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Another question I had was, I know a lot of people are super hesitant to share this with others, and some are all about it. I was wondering where you fell on that spectrum, because it took you 2 years to even give it a try. So when after those 2 weeks, you said it took 2 weeks and you knew it was for you. Did you feel compelled to share it right away, or what was your thought process there?
So when I first signed up, I actually pulled one of my best friends in with me and my sister-in-law with me. And I was like, do this 30-day challenge with me. And they were like, okay, cool, sure. And I was like, guys, we have a 30-day money back guarantee. We'll just send it back if you don't like it. And they both continued using the products as well. So I was very hesitant sharing it for a really long time. Actually, the way I ended up sharing it, it kind of just fell into my lap with people seeing my posts, people seeing my activity level and the endurance I had, when I was doing these activities. And I had people reaching out to me, and they would say, you were always so active. You were always so healthy. Like, what are you doing now? How are you even healthier than you were before? And, a lot of people don't realize really what somebody is going through from the outside, looking in. So after I told them, kind of gave them a short version of my story, and kind of what I was doing it for, not that I did it for the weight loss aspect or anything, that's where people wanted to jump on that same bandwagon as I was on, and that's where people just reached out. And then, different things came out with, well, I would ask, what are you looking to change in your life? What are you looking to benefit in your lifestyle? And most of actually everything that people brought up, I could relate to, even though I didn't sign up for that because I experienced those same benefits and those same changes, more energy. I actually ended up losing a couple pounds that I thought I never had to lose. And I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, this is awesome. I have the non-scale victories, but I still have a scale victory, So, and honestly, like, I was just, I didn't share to benefit me. I shared to benefit them. And I thought that it was so important to, have it in everybody's life. It has something for everybody.
Totally. I love that. But it's so real. Like, just how you're sharing right now. It's just so natural. And that's the power of this, It's like you said, you're doing it for them, not for you. You're looking to see what it can do for them.
Absolutely.
I love that. Would you mind sharing so you've shared obviously what the nutrition has done for you and for your injury and all of that, but what has Isagenix as a whole done for you? So like community, anything with mindset, anything, like the whole package, what has it done for you?
Yep. So it has literally, I have gained, and I've made so many friends all over the country that I've never met 97% of them in person. But the fact that, it's insane. Like, the community behind Isagenix, you always have somebody there. You always have somebody there for you. You always have somebody who is going to listen to your defeats, to your accomplishments, especially joining with our groups that we have, like our 30-day challenge groups. I mean, I love those groups. I wake up and I'm like, yes, what can I post today to try to, motivate myself and other people? Or, let's post this defeat and let's see how many other people come out of their shell and share the same thing. And so that has really helped me throughout, the last however many months to a year. The Healthy Mind and Body through Isagenix, that has been a whole nother experience that really kind of helped me dive into more of emotional aspects in my life that maybe I was putting aside. And I never thought a nutritional company would really forced me to focus on myself mentally and emotionally. So they've definitely been just, as beneficial and just as important as my health and the changes that I've had in my health, so I'm so very thankful.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you. The first time I ever did the Healthy Mind and Body program, it changed my life as much as the nutrition did. I didn't think, a company like this could have such an impact overall, but it totally has. And it blew my expectations away. Like, I was amazed. I totally can agree with you on that. And so, like what you were saying with the community and everything that goes along with Isagenix, and I know we have celebrations coming up again. I know I mentioned that earlier, but it's this huge, awesome event. It's in Vegas this year. There's pretty much 15 to 16,000 people that go, and you just get inspired and you learn so much about the products, and you get to meet all these people that are passionate about their health and wellness too. And I know you're going because we are rooming together in an amazing Airbnb with like 10 other people on this call. So I'm stoked. But I was just wondering, what do the events mean to you? Because I know you went to Celebration last year too, because that's where I met you. What do the events do for you? And what have you gotten out of that?
So last year I did go to Celebration. I actually went when I was 2 weeks in to the program. Again, Faith was like, hey, do you want to go to Celebration with me? And I was like, sure, when is it? She's like, oh, it's in like a week and a half. And I was like, okay. And I bought my plane ticket and I went. And I literally have never been so emotionally moved. I mean, I remember standing in the audience and just on the verge of just breaking down. And really just because of the energy, the positivity, all the people that are there. And I really gained throughout that experience, I would say 2 to 3 main things out of it. Number one, I recognize the fact that this is not just a company that sits behind the screen. I recognize that this company wants to be just as part of your life and your transformation as you want to be in your own. Does that make sense? So 16,000 people and the co-founders, the CEOs, everybody was there. And everybody, they were up on stage and they were just some of the most welcoming and just warm people I have ever been around. And it was so cool because you don't really get that out of big corporate companies. You don't find that. Actually, it's hard to find that in a small office, just people who are sincere and genuine and just caring. I also realized I wasn't crazy, and it wasn't just in my head of all the feelings I was feeling about, my changes, because there were so many other people just telling their stories. And then on top of it, the Body Challenge contestants, the finalists, that's when I actually finally cried. And it was because, you have these people up there you hear their story and how hopeless they were. And, you have the story about the dad who's so tired, he can't even get off the couch to go play with his kids. And now look at him, however long later, and he's winning or placing in the top 3 of the Body Challenge. And he shares how much it's changed his life. And it is insane. And sometimes I know it's hard for people to believe that that's actually possible, but to be there and to see it myself and to really witness it firsthand has made it so much easier just to be like, no, it's true. Just like Faith said, you can't make it up. It is absolutely incredible. And again, just meeting new people. I met so many people at Celebration that I've kept in contact with. And it's just, again, your family just grows every time you meet somebody new.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I love it. So do you have any, I'm going to go into a little personal development in a second, but do you have any last little piece of advice you'd give to anyone on the call who might not even fully understand what Isagenix is or is on the fence about it or anything?
So 2 things. I would say number 1, everybody's story is different. Everybody's experience is going to be different, and you can't compare it one story to another. But again, there is something for everybody. That 30-day money-back guarantee is a real thing, and that's what made me start it. So in my mind now, I tell people, my friends and family who are like, well, I'm kind of on the fence about it. It seems expensive. And I said, I thought the same thing until you actually start it. And you're like, wow, I'm spending that much less at the grocery store. I'm only spending $9 a day for 2 meals, which is unheard of, and there's a 30-day money back guarantee. You have nothing to lose. How much is your health worth? Is it worth that drink at Starbucks every day and the bag of chips you're buying every day that you're spending $10, $11 on? Or is it really worth putting good nutrition in your body and and feeding your body right? What?
Melanie's sitting at a Starbucks right now. I was just laughing.
Hey, I like iced chai tea. Don't get me wrong.
No judgment. No judgment.
No, none at all. But it's just, but that's how people think about it. They think it's expensive. When you really stop and look at what you spend your money, like, just needlessly on, it's just stuff that really isn't benefiting or doing anything for ourselves.
Totally.
Oh.
Well, Laura, you're amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Does anyone have any questions for her? You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat. I'm sure she'd be happy to hear from anyone. And if not, I'll just go into mindset stuff. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Laura. And feel free to chime in this part too. Any of you are welcome to chime in on this. I just wanted to talk about something Jamie and I went to Colorado last week for a wedding, and Jamie and I were hiking, and we started talking about, how a lot of people will reach out and be like, oh my gosh, like, you live such an amazing life, or oh my gosh, you live in the coolest place ever. You're so lucky. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about for this little last 7 minutes, is the whole topic of being lucky, or luck in general, and what that really means. Because the more I think about it, because I used to honestly think the same way. And I can actually think back to, I was on Facebook. I was still living in Wisconsin. I was on Facebook, and my friend Jessica Jones, oh my God, Jessica Jones, like, I knew her through snowboarding in Wisconsin, and then she moved up to California. And all of her posts, like, inspired me and pissed me off at the same time, because I was like, she's living my life. Like, she's going on these awesome hikes, and I wish I could do that, And I found myself saying, like, wow, she's so lucky, and I wish I could do that. And then I think I messaged her and I said, you inspire me so much, and I wish I could, live your life. And she's like, well, why can't you? And it just really got me thinking. I was like, that I was really more so stuck in my mindset than anything else. It wasn't that I had to stay at the job I was at, or that I had to live in Wisconsin, but in my mind, that's how it was. I finished school, I got my job, and that was it. That's my life. And when I realized that that wasn't how it is, and that I am in control of my life, I started making changes. And it's weird that I even had that mindset block, but I think a lot of people do. And all of a sudden, my job transferred to Texas, and I had no interest in living there. I'm already hot here in Montana. And I just started looking for jobs out west, because it was my dream to be by the mountains. And lo and behold, I got a job in Oregon, and that changed my life. I started living what Jessica Jones was living. I was hiking. I was doing all the things I loved in a place that I loved. And then that job transferred to Bozeman, Montana. So that's where I am now. And yeah, I am super blessed, and I'm lucky to an extent. But it really comes down to the decisions that you make. And I mean, there's definitely sacrifices with everything you do too. And I think that's the things people don't see. And, there's a lot of not so great things that go on in my life too, like everyone else. So I just wanted to share that story, because I feel like that could maybe speak to a few people. Yeah. Jamie, did you have anything to add? Because I know we were talking about that together.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I just had somebody just a second ago, literally, while we're on this call, message me on Facebook and say, man, I wish I could live the life you live. Seriously, I could pull it up and screen share it. But what people don't realize is it's all a mindset. It's all a decision you make to change something about your life. Every single person has one of three things usually that they would like to change. It's either more travel, better health, or more money. Three things. And when somebody sees something in somebody else's life in one of those three areas, oh, this guy just got a six-pack. He looks awesome. I want that. Wow, he really gets to travel a lot, does a lot of cool stuff. I'd love to do that. Or, man, he's really making a lot of money. He bought a really nice house. Like, everybody's wanting what they are not really willing to work for. They want it, but they're not really willing to take the step forward. So, like, people reach out to me all the time, like, hey, man, I wish I could go on those hikes. I wish I could do this, that, and the other. But what they don't see is a crap ton of hard work. And it's a decision. It's a decision to wake up at 5 a.m. and get up and connect with people and get my work done and then go to my regular PA job and spend, 50 hours a week in surgery and taking care of patients all day long, and then coming home and having the energy, thanks for coffee, to stay up a little while longer and work on my business. And people don't see that. But one key point that I will make is everybody is climbing a ladder. It doesn't matter where you're at in life. Everybody is climbing a ladder. You could be stuck in the middle of that ladder on a rung somewhere, but you're climbing a ladder. Doesn't matter where you're at. The real difference between the person who's going to be successful at the top of that ladder and the person who is not going to be successful at the top of the ladder is where the ladder is leaning. If the ladder's on a wall that's not going to get you anywhere, then you're climbing the wrong ladder. Okay? So think about this. If you have a plan laid out for your life that you can look at it in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you can seriously tell yourself, this is going to get me where I want to go. I'm not saying that single position is going to make you the money or give you the freedom that you want, but is it going to provide the opportunities for you to advance in your life? Okay? A lot of people, let's take it back to the travel thing. Like, you took a step and moved to Oregon. That brought people into your life that you never would have met. And by taking that opportunity, you didn't make a ton of money by doing that, but the opportunities that it brought you were huge. I will go ahead and give a huge shout out to the people who hopped on this call, because this could be something very simple that's a step in your life that gets you in the right direction, to connect with the right people, to make the right choices to get you where you want to go. So don't think about big situations. Don't think about, I want to have this life. Think about what you can do tomorrow to put you in a position to better improve your odds of getting there. And that's what makes the difference. For me, like yesterday, I was sitting on top of a mountain. I had 4 phone calls while I sat there. I made a live video. I posted on Facebook, and I reached out to people about this call from the top of a freaking mountain. And that's the reason I get to do the things that I do. It's not because I just go out willy-nilly and do this fun stuff. I get to enjoy a life because Isagenix has provided me a life to do that kind of thing. And I know we didn't get to speak too much about the business opportunity with this, but that is it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to add one more thing. I know we have 1 minute.
Okay.
I think it really comes down to gratitude. So, like, even when I was living in Wisconsin, I realized now that I wasn't as grateful as I could have been living there, and I could have embraced a lot more. And look at your life and appreciate the things you do have, and then you're going to start to see all the opportunity in that. It really all comes down to gratitude. Like, I think because we're so grateful for, like, I'm so grateful I live in Montana. I'm so grateful to be a part of Isagenix. I'm so grateful to have all my friends and family. I think because I'm grateful for that and I express it, people think I'm lucky. But everyone has gratitude for something. And the more that you can, nail down what you're grateful for, doors will open everywhere. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, people who are grateful.
Can I add something?
Yeah. Who's that?
It's Chelsea.
Oh, please do, Chelsea.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's about and stuff like that. Instead of being jealous, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. So back on, like, just being jealous about other people, instead of being jealous, let that inspire you. Like, get after your own stuff. Like, don't just sit there and be like, oh, that's so cool, I wish I could do that. No, what do you need to do to get there? Don't just look at that and be jealous.
Right. That's exactly right.
Boom.
Don't let jealousy rule you that way.
Yeah, that's exactly
And
right.
jealousy is selfish.
Love it.
If you're not happy for somebody, I mean, jealousy is so selfish. You should be happy for your friends that are doing awesome things and getting out there. And then ask them, hey, how do you do that? I want to do that too.
Exactly.
Right.
I love how fired up you are. That's awesome.
She's been sitting there like fuming over this. She's
I have.
that's awesome. Thank you.
My grandma said, good advice, Chelsea. All right, well, we're 7:01, and I want to respect everyone's time. Thank you.
I just got one other thing.
Laura, for sharing your. Oh, what, Jamie?
Go ahead and finish what you're going to say. I got one other thing to add.
Thank you so much, Laura, for sharing your story. It was beautiful. And thank you, Chelsea, for chiming in. That was awesome. Thank you, everyone, for joining. You guys are amazing. And we'll be back next Monday, same time, same place.
I just want to leave everybody with this. There's a lady that's really close to a lot of us on here who has a father who's in the hospital. He's not doing very well. If everyone would, doesn't matter who it is, just take a second and send some positive thoughts, prayer, whatever you believe in her direction. I know she'll feel it. I know it'll help her. So if everybody could do that for me, I'd appreciate it. Thanks, Laura. You're awesome.
Yes, thank you, guys. Have a good night.